How does the third guideline applies? The third guideline reads as follows: consistently exceeding tolerances stated in the objective shall be disqualifying. The following three answers will allow us to understand this guideline. What does it mean performing within the tolerances? Let me explain to you the application of the evaluation standards for a maneuver that allows a tolerance of 100 feet plus or minus. What this simply means is that the target altitude to maintain, for instance, is 3,000 feet, and you manage not to descend below 2,900 and never climb above 3,100. That means you are within the tolerances. This also applies to course, heading, and airspeed. What does it mean exceeding the tolerances? That means if you allow the aircraft to depart the plus or minus window, what I call the maneuvering window, you have now exceeded the tolerances. In other words, if you climb higher than 3,100 or descend lower than 2,900, the tolerances have been exceeded. However, according to the guideline, it is okay to exceed the tolerances. That in itself is necessarily disqualifying. And this also applies to course, heading, and airspeed. But there is a catch to that, and we're going to get to that one. How does the term consistently apply? Here's where the third part of the guideline comes in. Please note that the operative word in that phrase is consistently. Let's review the meaning of the word again. Consistently means done the same way or to the same degree over a period of time. And according to the definition, it seems like you can exceed the tolerances more than once, twice, or three times, as long as you don't do it consistently. This also applies to course, heading, and airspeed. It is the examiner's judgment what determines if you have indeed exceeded the tolerances consistently. How does the fourth guideline apply? By reading the fourth guideline, we'll see that there are checks and balances. It says failure to take prompt corrective action when tolerances are exceeded is disqualifying. When you go outside of the maneuvering window, you must correct to get back into the window. The operative word in that statement is prompt, which according to Merriam-Webster means carry out or perform without delay. Between you and me, that means quick. While this is a general standard, don't allow yourself to stare at an excursion from the tolerances. There is a possibility of being disqualified by exceeding the tolerances only once, especially if you exceed the tolerance and don't get back into the window promptly, or if an excessive altitude, airspeed, heading, or course deviation takes place, requiring examiner intervention. The bottom line is you may exceed the tolerances as long as you don't do it consistently. And if you do, you have to fix it promptly. But wait, there's more. If you're flying a cross-country flight during a private pilot check ride, the tolerances for aircraft heading increases to 15 degrees plus or minus. That's a 30-degree window. The airspeed increases to 15 knots plus or minus, 30-knot window. The course deviation allowed is 5 statute miles from the checkpoint. And the altitude increases to 200 feet plus or minus, a 400 window. Folks, can we talk? Is this on? If you cannot navigate an aircraft within 5 miles either side of the course or maintain it within a 400-foot window, you may consider buying a boat or any other related water sports. Take it to the bank. Now, How does the fifth guideline apply? There are two different scenarios in which unsatisfactory performance can be determined by the examiner's judgment. One is consistently exceeding the tolerances within a given task, and the other one is that even though you did not consistently exceed the tolerances in any given task, you consistently exceeded the tolerances throughout the flight. That will be disqualifying because it falls under the fifth guideline, which reads, a given special emphasis area may not be specifically addressed under a given task. All areas are essential to flight and will be evaluated during the practical test. One of those special emphasis areas is positive aircraft control. You have shown unsatisfactory aircraft control if the tolerances were exceeded consistently, not only during the performance of maneuvers, but during the whole flight, requiring the examiner to issue a notice of disapproval. How does the sixth guideline apply? Guideline 6 reads as follows. The tolerances represent the performance expected in good flying conditions. If good flying conditions do not prevail, for instance, if it is really windy or turbulent, there is a degree of difficulty factored into the equation. However, handling of the aircraft and the outcome of any procedure or maneuver should never be in doubt, regardless of the existing conditions in which you decided to fly in. If you have doubts about the weather, it is probably best to reschedule. By now, you can see that the FAA is not expecting perfection. So, if there are no perfect pilots, then the next category will be an excellent pilot. So, how to define an excellent pilot? There is no official definition for it, so I'm going to give you mine. Bear in mind that this is strictly my opinion and not that of the FAA. An excellent pilot should be determined by time. But guess what? Not flight time. Instead, by the time it takes a pilot to recognize a mistake and fix it. The quicker pilots can do that, the closer to excellence they get. At the end of the day, what the FAA wants above everything else is a safe, knowledgeable, and proficient pilot. My fellow pilots, knowledge and flight practical test standards for the evaluation of pilots was very well thought out. It balances thoroughness of the exam while being fair to the pilot. It also considers that we're human beings and that although we're constantly striving for perfection, we will never get there. Please bear in mind that these are general briefings. There are additional topics in the pre-flight briefing that are specific to different kinds of check rides, like multi-engine, CFI, instrument, ATP, and type ratings. Those will be addressed during each individual check ride and are not extensive in nature. The fact that you watch these videos before the check ride, your stress level will be lower and manageable, making the additional short briefing information easier to grasp and understand. Now, I would like to leave you with these thoughts. May the weather conditions always be KAVU, or at worst, compatible with your experience and limitations. May you always experience very strong tailwinds. May you always land with lots more fuel than required for the mission. May your judgment system always show 3 green. May the hinges of your proficiency never rust in place. And especially, may the propellers of your knowledge never stop turning, because these are the things that will prevent your wings from losing their feathers. Please make sure that you go to the Contact Us page and let us know what you think. It is important to us. Additionally, we will keep you updated on the latest video releases. Flying Colors Training Solutions will not release your information ever. And this brings us to the conclusion of the rules of the Checkride. I hope this has been informative and that you find it helpful come Checkride Day. Thank you for watching. Good luck on your Checkride and always fly safe. See you on the next video.